All right, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Coffee with Tim Black. Yeah. We got some stuff to cover today, to get to a little bit. I want to first thank all the people that bear with me as we try to get over this, whatever I have going on. It's kind of irksome. You know, I had to call off last night's show. But we're back today with a little bit of news. Today I have for you net neutrality, how our internet may be changing. We have Trump and Kim, the summit, and what other countries around the globe think about it. We've got the DNC SuperDelegates, very unpopular rule in the Democratic primary that may be changing, and those who oppose it. We also have, I guess we'll start with the other story. The other story is, a lot of people talk about how Bernie Sanders is a sheepdog to bring everyone back to the Democratic Party. And they're not incorrect in that. I think it's obvious that Bernie Sanders would rather people vote Democrat than vote Republican. But this idea that the Democratic Party is cozy with Bernie Sanders, well, that's a stupid idea because it's totally not true. Case in point, there's a new rule. I call it the Bernie rule, right? Check this out. DNC panel adopts a rule requiring candidates to run and serve as Democrats. The Democratic or DNC adopted a new rule on Friday aimed at keeping outsider candidates like Senator Bernie Sanders from trying to clinch the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020. Yeah. That's where they want to try. Look, candidates trying to clinch the Democratic nomination in 2020, there are going to be some rules they want to slap on these perpetrators of democracy. The new rule, adopted by the DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee, requires all Democratic presidential candidates to be a member of the Democratic Party. Yeah, no more of this, hey, I'm an independent, but I'm going to run as a Democrat because I've helped Democrats be elected all my life as a politician. But no, you have to be a Democrat. To run as a Democrat, you have to be a Democrat. That's how you get rid of the Bernie, right? Unless Bernie Sanders decides there's other options. A presidential candidate running for the Democratic nomination must be a member of the party, accept the Democratic nomination, run and serve as a member of the Democratic Party, as a Democrat. Sanders, who has maintained his status as an independent, fought a tough primary race for the Democratic national nomination against the eventual presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in 2016. A source familiar with the discussions told Yahoo, however, that the rule wasn't targeted at Sanders. It's just targeted at whoever, a very popular Jew that's over the age of 74 who ran in 2016 against Hillary. But no one's saying that's Bernie Sanders. That could be any 74-plus-year-old Jewish guy who ran against Hillary in the presidential 2016 race, Democratic primary race. Yeah, man. That's not rain, Tim. That's waters from the heavens. God's tears. At the time a presidential candidate announces their candidacy publicly, they must publicly acclaim that they are a Democrat. That's right. They want you to get down on one knee and say what you're about. Pledge allegiance to the DNC. That's what they want you to do. You should have no problems doing that. What's wrong with you? You think this is a game? I'm surprised they're not whooping your ass like an initiation into a gang. What? You ain't what? Blood in, blood out, essay. Nancy Pelosi, I can see her right now. Blood in, blood out, essay. Chuck Schumer over there like, what's up? You know what I mean? I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm feeling pretty good. Kamala Harris over there like, I want to shoot you so bad right now. My gavel is hard. What's up? All right, so look, in March, the DNC voted to acknowledge a need to reduce the influence of so-called superdelegates. That's our next story. Why are you getting into that story in this story? So look, guys, look, if you say that Bernie Sanders is nothing but an operative of the DNC, of the Democratic Party, you got to acknowledge that they're doing their best to stop his ass. I believe that Bernie Sanders, this may be an opportunity for him to do what we want him to do, or what I think is the best strategy for Bernie Sanders and so many others is for him to run third party. Man, I think it's obvious. Bernie Sanders ain't going to change the DNC. He's not going to change the Democratic Party. They don't want, and it's also obvious they don't want to be changed. You can't make a man do what a man don't want to do. Unless you're the DNC and you beat him into submission. So that's what I think is going on with Bernie Sanders. All right. We'll come back to that issue. We'll come back to it. We got more DNC stuff. I don't want to give you all the DNC news at one time. You might not be able to take it. Don't want to be held accountable for somebody falling out. Listen to all this DNC news. Let's get to the internet. I love the internet. I'm using the internet right now to speak to you. If it weren't for the internet, I would not be able to have this amazing show. Okay, it's a pretty good show. I love it. Some changes to the internet were just implemented. Well, potentially implemented. Look, I don't know how much of these changes have gone into effect now, but the possibility of these changes are imminent. Net neutrality repeal is official. Here's how the net neutrality repeal could affect you. The FCC repeal of net neutrality rules, which had required internet service providers to treat all content and all websites the same, was repealed on Monday. The rules enacted by the administration of President Barack Obama in 2015 prohibited internet providers from charging more for certain content or for giving preferential treatment to certain websites. Certain websites. When I see this right here, when I see this, I just want to punch you because I know whatever's coming out of this, when I'm seeing this, is a lie. Or at least an obfuscation. After the commission voted to repeal the rules in December, it faced a political outcry, legal challenges from state attorneys generals and public interest groups, and a push by Democratic lawmakers to overturn the decision. The opponents argued that the repeal would open the door for service providers to censor content online or charge additional fees to consumers for better service, something that could hurt small companies in several states that have taken steps to impose the rules on a local level. Still, the repeal was a big win for Ajit Pai, FCC chairman, and who was long opposed to regulations, saying they impeded innovation. You know, whenever I hear Ajit Pai talk about the repealing of net neutrality, and he says that net neutrality stops innovation, he never explains what that innovation is that it's supposedly hindering. You mean the innovation of, bundling services such as social media packages? Well, if you want to get to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, you got to pay a certain amount of money. It's an internet social media package deal we're going to give you, and then the rest of the internet's another price. Or maybe you'll charge more for, access to porn, or maybe access to the news, or maybe access to TimberlakeTV.com. I don't know. Like, you never say specifically. The internet, the repeal of net neutrality seems to focus on pricing, costs, and charging and throttling. Here goes a couple of things. Here's what we have. Blocking. This is what has changed, right? the ability to block websites. Internet service providers cannot discriminate against any lawful content by blocking websites or apps. So it's more innovative to a GPI that the ISPs have the opportunity or the choice to decide if they want to block certain apps. Before they couldn't do it, now they can do it. That means you can sort of hold for ransom the access to the internet for people who want to access your app or your website. Throttling. Service providers cannot slow the internet transmission of data because of the nature of the content as long as it was legal. So now they can slow down your access to certain websites. Oh, here goes a thought. Say I'm Verizon and I have my own news service, which they do. Speeds of getting to my news will be a lot faster than speeds of getting to someone else's news, any other news, because, well, I'm an ISP and I run it. So why would I not slow you down and speed me up? And when it comes to consumers who all they want to do is get the most information as quickly as possible, why would they go with the slower website? I mean, if they had a choice. Last but not least, same thing, paid prioritization. Service providers could not create an internet fast lane for companies and consumers who pay premiums and a slow lane for those who didn't. All right? So now they can. Now they could charge. You can have, well, we're going to give you the diamond level access, diamond level speed, and gold level speed. And, you know. Now, I just purchased a package of from my provider, Xfinity, Comcast, where it's a gigabyte. Yeah, it's a gigabyte because I need it for business, so I cut my cable off. I don't care about cable, but I need internet. This is how I survive. This is how I do what I do. So there's going to be more packages like this where you can get a faster speed, right, of access to the internet, which puts others at a disadvantage. I mean, it's almost to the point where whatever they charge me to have access to the internet, I have to pay. I mean, over everything, clothes, food, whatever, because that's the only way I can conduct business online, and that's kind of what I do. Now, it is important to note that certain states are challenging the federal ruling, okay? They are pushing back. I wonder what those states were. There were a couple states. Was New York one of those states? Democratic lawmakers are opposed to the repeal, took to social media, promising to reinstate the regulations. Barbara Unwood, New York's attorney general, noted that lawsuits opposing the repeal was still pending. The people saying we can't pass a resolution to hashtag save the internet in the House are the same people who were saying we could not do it in the Senate. Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts wrote on Twitter, "Ignore them and just keep fighting." Now, for some reason, this has become a political issue, a bipartisan issue. Well, a partisan issue, not bipartisan, partisan issue. Republicans, still others, cheer the rollback, like Brenda Carr, a Republican member of the FCC, said on Twitter, "Americans are passionate about the free and open internet. We don't want to be blocked or throttled or have our online experience subject to the whims of an internet provider." Well, she's on board. She doesn't want throttles. Good. Who is this? Who's this? Brendan Carr? Brendan's a guy, Tim. Brendan, I liked what you're saying, Brendan. It's always policy over party. So, Brendan, if you agree that we want an open and fair internet, well, let's all band together and fight for that because, frankly, the internet's the greatest invention in the last 50 years at least. It's going to change the world. It's going to continue to change the world. In fact, we're just at the beginning stages, we're in toddler stages when it comes to the internet. We have so much further to go. And right now, and forever, we don't need like Big Brother or anyone else trying to control, access to the internet for so many people. So throttling, and whenever you get into these lanes, and if you can pay money to go faster and stuff, for websites to load faster, it's always going to favor those who have what? Come on now, holler if you know what I'm talking about. If you have to pay, if they give you an option to pay, that someone can have a better experience or they can have access to their website or their app be faster, who is that always going to favor? It's never going to favor the consumer. It's always going to favor the corporation with the most money. We know this, right? This is a no-brainer, right? All right. What's going on with Trump and Canada? I'm still trying to make sense of Trump Canada, right? I thought we liked Canada. I thought we liked Justin Trudeau. And why are you guys making fun of his eyebrows? Why are you looking at that man's eyebrows so closely? What is it with you guys, huh? What is it that you're looking for, huh? I don't get it, man. Give a shit if he used fake eyebrows. Maybe he just self-conscious about his eyebrows. I don't care, man. I don't care if you got fake boobs or fake eyebrows. Who cares, man? Or fake hairpiece. I don't make a lot of Trump hairpiece jokes. Well, hairpiece is always fake because it's a hairpiece, right? But I don't make fun of that either. I don't care, man. Who cares? Nancy Pelosi is a fake human being. She's not human. She's a Westworld skin job. Do I complain about her being not a human being, like being artificial intelligence? No, I don't. I don't care. Okay, so if you haven't heard, Trump, for some reason, prior to his meeting with Kim Jong-un, the Kim Jong-un summit, he had some harsh words to make about Justin Trudeau. I don't understand it. Trump's feud with Justin Trudeau looks like a stunt. Basically, he said that Justin Trudeau and Canada were taking advantage of the United States. What it seems like when it comes on the turf side of the game, we actually have an advantage when it comes to several exports. With Trump talking tough just so he could go in with the correct posture as he went, to meet with Kim Jong-un. This is one theory that has arisen. Listen, President Trump's rationale for lashing out at Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau does not add up. This is an article by Colin Borchers. Calling Trudeau dishonest and weak, Trump cited two reasons to withdraw the United States from a joint statement on free, fair, and mutually beneficial trade. Free, fair, mutually beneficial trade. That's it. Now, this had been drafted for the summit of the Group of Seven, G7, international industrialized nations over the weekend. In a tweet, Trump pointed to Justin's statements or false statements at his news conference and this fact that Canada is charging massive tariffs. Yeah. Canadian tariffs were in place long before the summit and did not prevent Trump from initially endorsing the G7 statement on trade. It makes little sense that these pre-existing charges on U.S. exports will contribute to the president's sudden reversal. So basically what Colin is saying is that these tariffs, no matter how Trump feels about them, they were already in place before he agreed to work with Canada. Like, these are not new. It wasn't as if Canada's leveled some new tariffs on America. So why is Trump talking about it now, if it's not to position himself in some way? Very crafty. Okay. In a news conference on Saturday, Trudeau, he said that the Canadians will not be pushed around, and added that the Trump administration's national security justification for new tariffs on steel and aluminum imported from Canada was insulting. That's right. Justin grew a backbone and said, hey, get off my line, Trump. We're neighbors, Trump. You're not acting like a good neighbor, Trump. We're partners. What's the dealio? So here's the thing I find about it. They made a big to-do about Trudeau saying, hey, if you tariff us, you slap us with tariffs, we're going to slap you with tariffs. They made it seem like that was the most disgusting, overbearing statement that could be made in the history of like Canada, U.S.-Canada relations. You do to me, I do to you. Like that's, I don't know how that's disrespectful. Or as Trump put it, a stab in the back. No, maybe a stab in the front is what Trump did. And to save face with his people as prime minister, Justin Trudeau appeared to just say, hey, well, if you hit us, we're going to hit you back. We just can't stand here and be hit. But that's called weak. Actually, it's the opposite of being weak if you hit back when someone hits you. I would think, right? It is, damn it. It's positive to stand up for oneself. All right. See, here it goes. The accusation of backstabbing does not comport. I mean, it don't make sense, y'all. With Trudeau's overall message, which was mild and echoed some of his previous statements. Seemingly confused by Trump's fury, Trudeau's office said in a statement that the prime minister said nothing he hasn't said before, both in public and in private conversations with the president. A lot to do about nothing. Maybe this is planned just to bolster Trump. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Is this that more of that 4D chess, the ninja-like quantum physics level? You know, what is this? More of that dragon blood that I keep hearing about Trump having? Is that more of that in action? That's what this is, where we, you know, where he says something totally ridiculous and you guys try to bend and contort yourself, you know, into some type of pretzel to make it seem like it's the most heady, thoughtful, advanced strategy that's incomprehensible by a normal man. Those of regular, you know, normal intelligence. Like, this is what we do. I mean, it seems like every time Trump does something like this that makes no sense on its face at all, someone goes, but how could you know what Trump's trying to do? Maybe this is like, yo, this is grand. This is right. This grand level, like high level of like, you know, sophistication, yo. Like thinking, man. Yeah, man. This is high level, man. Yo, dog. Listen, man. Think about it for a second. I'm telling you, yo. This is like deeper than like everything, man. You feel me? Maybe it's just stupid, you know? All right. Just stupid. All right. Trump and Kim, they meet together finally. They have a sit down and talk in Singapore. And we've all been waiting for this, right? Yes, we've been hearing all of this like back and forth. You know? Trump will call Kim Jong-un something, and really little Kim, or what do you call Kim? Monster Kim? I don't know what he called Kim Jong-un. But what Kim Jong-un called Donald Trump stuck. Dotard? Dotard. I remember that. You remember that, right? Dotard. Anyway. So finally the two got together in what's called a historic event. Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, the United States, North Korea, sat down and had a conversation, and it appeared to be very much congenial. Right? Here's how the world leaders are reacting to historic Trump Kim summit. South Korea calls it a great victory, a huge step forward by and for all of us. President Moon Jae-in, who has for months been trying to bring Trump and Kim to the negotiating table, praised the historic summit and called it a great victory achieved by both the U.S. and the two Koreas. There's a full statement of Kim Jae-in. He says, I'll just read the beginning because I think it captures his feelings about it. He says, I offer my heartfelt congratulations and welcome the successes of the historic North Korea-United States summit. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, in moving on about the reactions across the globe from world leaders in regards to the Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump sit down, get together, Tupperware party, game night. Here goes China. China says, we might lift sanctions. China could adjust or even remove its sanctions on North Korea. The country's foreign ministry said after the summit, China is North Korea's largest trading partner. Foreign Ministry spokesman Jing Shuang, I know that's wrong, man. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Look, man, my apologies. Shang. Isn't that like a comedian from like the 90s, the 80s? Shang. What's up, Shang? Foreign Ministry spokesman Jing Shuang told reporters on Tuesday, as cited by Reuters, the UN Security Council resolutions that have been passed say that if North Korea respects and acts in accordance with the resolutions, then sanction measures can be adjusted, including to pause or remove the relevant sanctions. This is positive. This is positive so far. This is positive. That's two. That's 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Japan chimed in. Japan, thanks Trump for bringing up human rights issues. Yeah. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe told reporters after the summit that he was grateful for Trump bringing up human rights issues between Japan and North Korea, which have plagued relations between the two Asian countries for decades. At least 17 Japanese citizens disappeared at the hands of North Korea in the 70s and 80s, and many of their whereabouts remain unknown. Trump said he had absolutely raised the issue of abductions with Kim, and although they weren't mentioned in the joint statement, the North Koreans are going to be working on that. Trump and Kim held a private one-on-one meeting during the summit, and there may never be a full record of their conversation. But Trump says, we talked about it. There's just no record of us talking about it. But you got to take my word for us talking about it. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can put the claps on that one. You know? What about Russia? What did Putin have to say about, the summit? Says he's cautiously optimistic, but the mere fact that this meeting took place is a good sign. Russian President Sergei Lavrov told the state-run RIA Novosti News Agency, after watching Trump and Kim's televised comments, we have not seen any documents. I think they may not have been published yet, but the fact of the meeting itself is, of course, positive. So just the fact that Trump and Kim Jong-un are sitting down and having these conversations, that's good on his face. Just, hey, this is good. It's a step in the right direction for people who don't want to die by nuclear war. The UN says give Kim patience and support to achieve denuclearization. The United Nations urged countries to be patient and support North Korea's pledge to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. UN spokesman Stephanie Dujarric said on Tuesday, cited by Reuters, Implementing today's and previous agreements reached in accordance with the relevant Security Council resolutions will require patience and support from the global community. The U.S.-North Korea Joint Statement promised to work toward complete denuclearization, which support or stop short of the U.S.'s goals of complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization, or CVD. Trump told reporters he pressed Kim on CVID, but did not get it in writing because there was no time. I'm only here for one day. What did Britain say about this? Huh? Denuclearization, it's a goal that's on the horizon. You look out there, you see it. It's a possibility. What was Britain's response? Well, Britain was hopeful for a secure and prosperous future in North Korea. UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson described the summit as constructive and called on Kim to work towards this denuclearization. We welcome that President Trump and Kim Jong-un have held a constructive summit. This is an important step toward the stability of a region vital to global economic growth and home to thousands of British nationals in important UK interests. Man, this is amazing, man. I haven't read anything negative except from, let's see. The European Union says diplomacy is the only way forward. It's the only way forward towards peace. Now, who does not like it? That's right. Who does not like Trump and Kim Jong-un sitting down having a conversation that's possibly leading us to denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, putting our ally, the South Koreans, in a better psychological, even if it is symbiotic situation. Like just to, okay, this is great. This is, because they're like practicing like bomb preparation, like they got skits and they're doing all this stuff. Like they're really afraid that North Korea will launch a missile any day now. Now, the United States, we don't, live under that type of fear. So just the idea that the U.S. is sitting down with North Korea to come to some type of resolution, that's got to make Japan feel better, South Korea feel better. Well, who doesn't feel good about this opportunity? Iran. Iran told Trump, cancel the agreement before returning home. Iran warned North Korea against negotiating with Trump, saying that the U.S. president does not represent the American people. Yeah, he kind of does. That's why a lot of people are pissed off, because he does represent the American people. But he may have got this one right. Like you can, I want peace for everyone on the globe, like peace, peace, peace. I know it's not always realistic in every situation, but it's definitely realistic opportunity here in the Korean Peninsula. So what is Iran talking about? Well, just because Trump doesn't have the support of the American people. Mohammed Bagher Nobakht, an Iranian government spokesman, said, according to Reuters, we don't know what type of person the North Korean leader is negotiating with. It's not clear that he would not cancel the agreement before returning home. This man does not represent the American people, and they will surely distance themselves from him at the next elections. This man does represent the American people because we only have one president at one time. And the way things are going, he may end up winning 2020 because people are pretty stupid. And I mean, like the challengers, like they're rigging the elections, doing all this crazy stuff. But Iranian, dude, just worry about Iranian. Worry about that. Worry about that over there. We got enough problems. Unfortunately, Trump does speak for us, as did Obama. So anyway, who else is pissed off? Who else has something else to say about the summit? This not positive. It's as if two world leaders sitting down and talking without blowing each other up, it could be possibly seen as a negative. I don't get that. two gangs come together and they talk it out, and you go, you shouldn't be talking. It's all this talking stuff for. Oh, the U.S. Democratic Party for the most part. That's who. They think this is stupid too. They have negative. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi. See, when I call her a Democratic leader, people get mad. Why are you focusing on Nancy Pelosi? She's not a leader. She's a minority leader, right? Nancy Pelosi slammed the joint statement as one containing vague promises that do not approach the U.S. goal of denuclearization, and one drawn up in Trump's haste to reach an agreement. Other Democratic lawmakers also expressed dismay over Trump's seemingly warm relationship with Kim Jong. Senator Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, calling it just embarrassing. I liked, there's some responses that I like more than others on this. I think the idea that this is optimistic, we should be optimistic, and this seems positive, is probably the politically unbiased way to look at it. These are people that were threatening each other via Twitter to destroy each other's countries. And now they're in a room and they're discussing things, and they've even signed a document going forward, how they want to operate and what their goals may be. And of course, it's very vague, but it was only a one-day conversation, not even 1 day. So I think this is positive. Look, obviously the Democratic Party will play politics with this. They don't want to give Trump any kudos, any props, because, well, they want to beat him in 2020. And this is, frankly, a feather in the cap. How much of a feather? Whether it be a small feather or a big feather will all depend on what's actually in the language and what type of real, commitments that Trump can get Kim Jong-un to be nailed down on. But any step towards something that's peaceful is a positive step. And that, my friends, is as straight as you'll hear it called on anything that's not owned by MSNBC or CNN or any of these other hacks or whatever. It's just what I think. And to them, that would be wrong for me to say. For me to say that it would be a good idea to have these conversations. The Bernie rule, superdelegates. Oh, this is my favorite one. Yeah, let's go back to this. You guys ready for some more Kim Summit? Oh, yeah, Trump said he's going to end those, those war games or whatever that we do. Like, maybe now we can stop posturing with Kim Jong-un trying to send a rocket and Trump just being just outside the peninsula waging war games. This might be kind of good to stop this. Okay. Tom Perez, he made a statement, I think it was on Thursday, that the DNC and the Bylaws Committee were planning to do something about superdelegates. He said that superdelegates needed to be reformed. And it's not just because he doesn't like superdelegates, because he is probably, I'm sure, a superdelegate. He has to be. He's a party leader. But because the voters are in favor of superdelegate reform in the Democratic Party. In fact, the Democratic Party is the only party that has superdelegates. These super people whose, their thoughts about who should be president or nominee for the party are worth about as much as another 10,000 of other people's thoughts about who should be the nominee of the party. So that's a 1 to 10,000 ratio. It's estimated that a superdelegate's vote is worth the equivalent of 10,000 people's votes. In the so-called Democratic primary, within the so-called Democratic Party. Democratic. So the idea of maybe they need to do some reforming has led to some people being pretty pissed off. Some superdelegates are elitists who get more votes at the convention than regular delegates. The whole idea of some people getting more votes than others is extremely undemocratic, and ironically, they call themselves the Democrats. Now, as I stated, some people are pissed off at the idea that Tom Perez and Keith Ellison and Russian bots would actually want to, take away the rights of superdelegates to dictate or put their thumb and booties on the scale for whatever candidate they think will be best. Obviously, in the 2016 election, when superdelegates went majorly for Hillary Clinton, even after the people in those states voted for Bernie Sanders, that they don't always know what they're doing because they chose the candidate who got destroyed by Donald Trump in the Electoral College, which is how we elect people. We don't elect people on a popular vote, which is crazy already, right? But we elect people based on the Electoral College. And these superdelegates were put in place to what? To make sure that no more, fiascos like Ray McGovern happened again? Well, anyway, didn't do so good in 2016. They picked a loser. They picked a loser who was polling worse, right, against Donald Trump than Bernie Sanders. You picked a loser, a person who had just lost in 2008, who's polling. I saw the polls before the primary. I saw them. Hillary was projected in most polls to be behind Donald Trump, and lo and behold, she lost against Donald Trump. Anyway. There's an article in the Huffington Post. I found it hilarious. Democrats are now leery that Russia may have infiltrated their discussions on superdelegate reform. Yeah. Yeah. Like, why are you talking about changing the superdelegate rules? It must be those Russians. It's got to be Russians. Couldn't just be the majority of the party voters who don't want it. No way. According to the RNC, okay. So 437 superdelegates. I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like 700 superdelegates. Well, there's this gentleman. His name is Bob Mulholland is the name of this gentleman who's a DNC member. He's a longtime key player in California politics, Democratic politics specifically. He sent an email Friday to the other DNC members from the Golden State that implied Russian President Vladimir Putin might be behind the reform the superdelegate effort. Now, there's some things that Mr. Mulholland said that I find rich. Pretty good. There's this activist from West Virginia that for some reason Mr. Mulholland has a real problem with. He feels that this activist who wants superdelegate reform in the Democratic Party must be funded by the Russians because if not, how could you travel to other states within the United States without Putin money? Yeah, like if you're going to travel and you're from West Virginia, then you must be getting funded because people in West Virginia don't have money to get on planes. There's no way that this could be above board. Anyway, this is what Mulholland said. He said, I concluded someone is picking up her expenses, but there she and others are demanding we change our rules. He says the Putin operation is active. The Putin operation is active. So after I read about this, where Mr. Mulholland, he made all these allegations that any move towards eliminating superdelegates or reforming the superdelegate system in the Democratic Party must be spearheaded by Putin. And if somebody wants to champion for that, or anybody within the party, even look, he even accuses Tom Perez, Joe Perez and Ellison, of being Russian. He said they're Russian. So I said, look, I got to find this guy. This guy, I got to talk to him. I want to know more about him. So I did just that. I called up Bob Mulholland, and I spoke with him. What did he say? What did you say, Bob? I asked Bob, did he have any evidence that these people within the party who want to reform the superdelegates are actually getting paid by Russians? Because this would be a bombshell if you had any actual evidence. Bob went on to say no, he didn't have any evidence, but he believes that Russians hacked the election and that they are providing, that they are trying to continue to hack the democratic process. He says people show up. They only show up working for themselves in the Green Party. It's very suspicious that they would want to reform superdelegates. So he said there are people within the who are getting a voice in the Democratic Party who want to reform the superdelegate situation, who have ties to the Green Party, and that Jill Stein ate with Putin. So therefore, that means that Jill Stein and the Green Party are being funded by Putin, and that they are somehow trying to destroy the Democratic Party. Those are his words, folks. I could not believe it. I had to hear it for myself, from him, his mouth, to me, so I could hear this paranoia. Superdelegates, Green Party person. Superdelegates is a Green Party person. There was some deep-seated concern about the Green Party and its affiliation with Putin. But there's no evidence that Putin funds the Green Party. I'm sure the Green Party is looking for funds, but I don't think they're getting them from Putin. But remember that notorious picture of Jill Stein at a dinner where Putin was present? I think that's the only evidence that that Mr. Mulholland has. A picture. Anyway. The Democratic Party, the process of electing or picking a nominee should not be based on superdelegates. It should be based on the voters. There are other changes in the Democratic Party that need to be made, as far as not just superdelegates, but also the open primaries, opportunity for people to vote, decide to become Democrats that day, and let their votes be casted. It's not just one thing. But to suggest that Ellison and that Tom Perez are Republicans, or not Republicans, even worse, Russians, because they want what the party wants. The party is made up of people. It's not just about elitists. And I think people like Bob Mulholland are the absolute, exactly the prototype of the type of people who the base complains about within the party who are running the party. That's the problem. Too many Bob Mulhollands are steering the direction of the Democratic Party. So anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. It was great. Now, to Mulholland's credit, I will say, at least he took my phone call, and at least he called me back, and he answered questions. His answers were crazy, but hey. And if you say you have no evidence to draw your conclusion, but yet you still draw your conclusion, that doesn't make much sense. And that's basically what Bob Mulholland said. I think that's it for today. I had fun, though. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you're up to date. I hope you're informed. Speaking of being informed, go to justinformed.com. Justinformed.com, a social media site run by activists and independent journalists and commentators like myself who just want us to be able to communicate and share information and not be tracked across the internets. So go there, Find out about it today. Sign up, register, and become a part of it. That's justinform.com. All right, guys. Hopefully it'll be ready to go tonight, depending on how this voice hangs out or holds out. We should be having a show tonight. We'll see. I will make an announcement. As you can see, the voice is leaving as we speak. I don't think I could do this again for another hour. Oh, I did receive a message just before going live that Sam Ronan, who was arrested Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, Saturday. Was released. So give it up for that. That's right. It's always good when people get freedom. Sam Ronan was arrested for, I don't know what he was doing. He was arrested for resisting arrest. He was arrested for resisting arrest. So, and this came only a few hours after he agreed to work with the Green Party in the Constance Newton Goodale race in Ohio for the governorship. So it was just bad timing, crazy timing, or maybe spot on timing, depends on how you look at it. But at any rate, Sam Ronan is home and safe. And I'm sure he wants to thank all those people who were concerned over the weekend. And more updates to Sam Ronan's situation will be forthcoming by either your brother Tim Black or Nico House. So go check that out. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for becoming members of Tim Black's Wolfpack. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live for that. And I will see you hopefully tonight. If not, I'll let you know. Peace.